we talk about wellness, but not a lot of us live it in practice. And so I really wanted to use this time to kind of impart real life wellness and like day-to-day happy implementations of wellness so you can take it with you. But I'm going to start with a little bit of a welcoming breath so we can kind of all gather this energy and kind of come to groove. So, welcome. Perfect timing, literally.
Oh, you're first?
Okay, so my name is Rosa. Oh my gosh, I am like so stoked that y'all care about me helping people.
I'll be right back.
There's a lot of my guys. Okay. Hi, come on in if you want. We're all about agency here. You choose. Okay, listen to me as we start. So my name is Lisa Alvarado. I am born and raised here in the Central Valley as well. I grew up a couple blocks up from here on the north side. I am born of normal parents. My dad immigrated at 13 from Mexico, and my mom was a teen mom, kind of product of poverty, kind of kicked around a couple schools here and there. Hi, welcome. We're all about agency here. If you want to stand up, A-OK. You want to park it, A-OK. I have chairs for folks if you want to get comfy over here. We're literally just doing some highs and stuff, so it's perfect timing. I'm gonna get a little grounded too and take my shoes off. I'm feeling like there's forces in here and I love it. Yeah, so as you all know, dealing with poverty is tough. You're kind of like a real life human dealing and navigating while also fighting for justice, so you understand the system, you can articulate the system. So we kind of live in this here and this there. A lot of people in Mexican culture, we call it ni de aquí, ni de allá, meaning we're not from here and we're not from there. It's exactly how I see justice warriors. We know it, we see it, we can articulate it, but sometimes our hearts are so powerful that we can't always name it when it happens, so we kind of just live with it in our bodies. So I started my journey into justice was just like y'all. I started as a youth organizer at 15. My mom, because she was a teen mom, we talked about safety, we talked about access to education, we talked about reproductive health rights and justice from about 8 years old on. I got to high school, my sex ed class was a joke, and so I was one of those overachievers who wanted to get to college, so I took the health of like 6 weeks. I was so embarrassed and so mortified. I'm like, this is why my mom's a teen mom. There was no accurate, comprehensive sex ed available. And so I kind of found my way into justice that way. So speaking up about it, I started asking questions. I went to administration. I kept getting pushed out. I kept getting shut down. I kept getting silenced. A lot of us who know wellness know that those physical things, being silent, being told that you're not smart enough, being pushed aside, have actual ramifications on the physical body. If you're not cleansing and you're not grounding and you're not rooted and you don't understand, you start to think that those are you. It's not. So the reason why I wanted to be here, or the reason why I feel blessed and privileged to be here is because I'm just like you. I grew up here too. I see what you see. What you see is valid, and I know it, and I hope that you take yourself priority as you endure and brave this work. You are more valuable than anything that you do. You are more valuable, period. You do not do justice work unless you understand that we get to live off of other folks' wisdom and other folks' advocacy. One of the best ways that you can do this is by prioritizing your rest, your wellness. When you are at your peak, you are unfuckable, period. Because you know yourself and people can read it in your energy. With all that said, I'm as crazy as my hair. I love color, I love vibrancy, I love energy, I love positivity, I love gratitude, I love appreciation. At 31, I just realized that I can organize in that way. So I launched my business at the onset of the pandemic because I was shitting bricks at how scared I was for my community and my young people who just got taken out of school and forced in your homes. And if your home is anything like my home, it took a long time for us to get healthy. And so it's like, how do you live in the home with poor wellness tactics? So this is my dream come true, to be in this room and in this space with y'all. And so my prayer is that we all get to be here and just revel in this kind of techniques and these practices. So that's my prayer. I'm gonna light some incense. What we're listening to is these Mexican rappers who came together and they kind of like use lyrics and music to express their advocacy. This is to share if you have a creative knack, music. Creativity is always a positive technique to work, right? We can't always articulate, but we can express. You're limitless in your expression. What I'm lighting is an incense. In my culture, my grandmother, she was the lady who got up at the crack ass of dawn and would do her prayers, do her rosary, and she would light her candles and light her yerba buenas. What I found out is any type of herbs that you use carry a chemistry signature, right? Some of them, when you burn them, they release certain things. So with incense, I prefer to use bay leaves. You can find this at a grocery store. Bay leaves, what I find out is when you burn it, it actually cleanses the air. So if you have any negative energy, it actually messes with the charge to kind of like baseline everything. And it's anti-anxiety. So I also started looking into fire. Like, what is it about fire? What is it about our ancestors that looks at like sacred elements as like sacred elements? So fire, because it's one of those sacred elements, it's meditated just by flame, right? Because it's burning, it's nature like us. So candle work is also equally as powerful. It may not neutralize energy in that way. Can you feel that stillness? That's us. So candle work is meditative for folks who don't really like to talk and don't really like to do anything. You just want to stare at candlelight, literally. And if it's white, white is the symbolism of peace and clarity. Colors can be powerful for multiple reasons. Easy way to cleanse yourself. For folks who do any meditation, all you have to do is ask the smoke to cleanse you. Call in divine light. A lot of folks get uncomfortable when we start messing with herbs and incenses because it's really related to religion, and there's a thing called toxic religion, and so there's a hard time blending the two. Remember, indigenous folks prayed and called on gratitude and did this prior to colonial religion. So remember to reclaim your sovereignty with your spiritual connection. Okay, simple way. I'm going to do the bay leaf. The reason why I wanted to show you guys bay leaf is because bay leaf can be actually dangerous. Depending on how long you dried it, the thing just like firecrackers. So you have to be careful. I am a little different with my spiritual practices because I'm trying to decolonize my life right now, and so I'm not afraid of dirt. I'm not afraid of like being courageous. So I'm going to burn my bay leaf over my sound bowl. Some people will be like, that's hella disrespectful of your sound bowl. I feel like ashes are a part of nature's cycle. Ashes are healthy, like they enrich soil. It's gonna enrich my sound bowl. Energy, right? So I just wanna show you guys, because when you do this at home, because most people have this in your medicine cabinet, be over like a sink or have a wet towel just in case things go awry. If you have an incense holder, these are A-okay, but you'll notice it. See how it like, my grandmother would tell you, Mija, that's not a good flame. Something's wrong with Mexican grandmothers. They're so dramatic. Like, she would have got out the rosary and did something. To me, when you're beginning your practices of wellness, trust your intuition. Your intuition is the sacred part about you. You know what's best for you. Just like you know what's best for your community, you know what's best for yourself. Trust in your intuition to guide you in these spaces. And if you feel like something is speaking to you, jot it down. Or just pay attention, take awareness. I normally will go 3 times. Ooh, it hurt us. I love it. Okay. Oh. As you can tell, I get really excited and then my cords come out. That is what I would do before anything I would do. I wake up, I cleanse my house, I say thank you to good energy. I root myself in an intention. And then you off to the races. So we're gonna go off to the races. I don't have a chair. I'm gonna grab one over here so I can be cozy with y'all. This is what we're gonna talk about. We just did a welcome breath. What we'll do is we'll do a series of 3 together. Just to show you guys what's a good breath to start with when I wake up in the morning. What if I'm feeling extra funky? The incense ain't working. Can you just show me a cycle of breath? So we'll do that together. And then I want to talk about who the hell am I? What's my beef with justice? And why do I think self-mastery is the way? And then we're going to do a quick intro into the mind, a quick intro into the body, and a quick intro into the spirit. And you're an angel. Thank you. And then I'm all about Q&A, like all about Q&A and all about practicality. So hopefully we'll be able to have a real conversation about how do I do this in practice though, like real life. So, has anybody done any breath work before? Awesome. Okay, thank you. What we'll do is, I'll share with you, we're gonna do a 3 count. So we'll do 3 cycles of breath, in for 3, hold for 3, out for 3. And if those of you who've done this before can kind of do your physical triggers for the neighbors around you, that way we can kind of have some good synergy together. Has anybody ever used a sound bowl before? Oh, awesome. Okay. So a sound bowl makes really pretty sounds, just like bells and wind chimes. With these ones, you can hit it. And grab the sound. And by tracing the bowl, it carries. Does anybody want to grace the space and try it for us? Well, what you'll do is you'll hit it, you'll trace it, and then you're going to start our cycle of breath. So what will happen is, what's your name? Matt's going to hit the sound bowl. Once Matt hits the sound bowl, as a group, what we'll do is we'll take a big deep breath for the count of 3. What I want you to do is, remember, decolonize your life. We're not fat, period. Like, we're humans with normal bodies. So your belly should come out. If it doesn't come out, we should be worried, like literally. If your pants are too tight, that's one thing. Like mine, their bell bottoms are too tight, but you're gonna see it expand. The reason why is we are trained to have short breath. Short breath is one of the biggest determinants of stress. You can lose half your life just by being stressed out. Dropping deep into the belly, down into the womb, roots you. Activating your root chakra, the easiest way, deep breath, rhythmic. So we'll go in for 3, hold for 3, out for 3, shifts to your belly, come out, and your only job is to pay attention. Is that okay? Matt, would you do us the honors? It's okay. No, that's awesome. So what happens is when your hand touches the bottom, it's your vibration touching the vibration of the bowl. So that's what's cool about the plate on the bottom. So I like to hold it where my palm is kind of out. So it's just snug in the middle, and I bang it real hard, and then when I feel confident, I'll just circle the bowl. It's okay if it takes you a couple times. That's the fun about these kind of workshops, is when nobody's judging you. Oh, perfect, got it. When you can hold it that low, that's serious breath. I love it. Okay, you ready for the real go? All right, Matt, on your count. In. And out. The more audible, the better for your body. We'll go one more time. Drop your shoulders, relax your jaw. Give yourself a quick wiggle. All right, Matt, on your time. Shake it out. Ready to rock. Thank you. This is for, at the end of this, everybody has access to play with this. You can all take a bay leaf home if there's more. Okay. Who am I? Lisa, Northside, Mom and Dad, normal people, justice work, really angry in my body, fast track, to the pandemic. I want people to be healthy. I really believe justice is a part of my framework. I sometimes get it, I'm an Aries, so we have this innate leadership skills. We're hella passionate, drive, grind. And so I wear myself out all the time. I'm this bright flame, and then the match goes out, and then I'm like out for 2 weeks, and then I feel bad about myself, and then I eat like crap. It's like this really bad cycle. And so in order to be sustainable, I had to build a practice of wellness. So I don't have beef with justice. I just look at justice now as like, my grandmother did not take her whole entire family to cross the border for me to be living in poverty and throwing shame on myself and feeling sorry for myself. My grandmother took her family and crossed a border, not knowing anything and not having a dollar to her name. I'm sure she had these very same conversations, but instead when she thought of me, she thought, that's my granddaughter who's gonna do it. You know, that's what you got. And so I always hold that. So when I think of justice, I think of living my grandmother's dreams. I think of living what my mom and my dad never had. As a first generation, the type of poverty that I endured, and some of you probably get this, is like, you had to be translators for your parents, you had to do the bills for your parents, and I think for my folks who identify as LGBTQ+, it's like, you're the only one talking about it. You're the only one expressing, and so we experience isolation and silence more than anybody, and we don't have enough safe spaces to just be ourselves. Self-mastery gives you the ownership and the allowance and the agency to choose how you express yourself, when you express yourself, and like there's just like this self-fulfillingness to it where you're not chasing ego, you're not chasing glory, you're chasing purpose. And so real justice warriors know why they fight, and they know who they fight for. I think for me, the word fighting has got to change a little bit. Self-mastery has taken me out of the hopeless and into the hopeful, but at my own choice. And so how do we look at justice in that way also? And I believe somebody asked a question like that to Robin in the beginning of like, where's the balance? The hard part is when you ask where's the balance, you're giving your power away by asking. You should be the one advocating on what that balance is. And for those of us who don't have the privilege of waiting any longer, we should really take ownership that we're going to be trailblazing this. Like, this is what we get to show to our families. So, just want to make the clarity because I'm down for justice and yeah, fight the man, but also like in a way that's right for you, deadass. You guys understand why self-mastery it is? Because colonizer will take your labor, they'll take your voice, they'll take your words, they'll take your time, and they have no problem with it, period. Self-mastery makes you unfuckable, and again, it's because the energetic signature speaks for you. So when you're at your day job, your boss isn't gonna ask you to work overtime because they already know, right? Like, it's the energy that I want y'all to have. I'm gonna pause there and see if we have any questions, anything we wanna go deeper on, because what'll be next is maybe some practices of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Okay, cool. What we'll do is we'll go round robin and just say your first name and maybe what brought you into this space. Maybe is it the mind, is it the body, is it the spirit, or maybe what you're struggling with. This will help me tailor where we go deeper in the conversation. And if you don't have anything to say, it's a-okay to pass, or you can just say something like, I'm just happy to be here, and that's cool with me too. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, does anybody want to start popcorn star, or we can go round robin? Ayo, look at that leadership.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I really wanted to come in here and see everything because I saw the spiritual and the mindfulness, and that's kind of something that I personally want to work on and get better at. And so that's why I'm here.
Hi, my name's Alex. I'm mostly just here because I thought that some of the things that I could find out about here would be interesting things to talk to you about.
Great, welcome.
Hi, my name is Kimberly, and I'm more interested so in like the spirit and the mind.
I'm Jocelyn, and yeah, what she said.
Jocelyn.
Love it.
I'm not.
after you?
I'll go for, I was just lost.
I go and I jump back here and go that way.
I just saw Miles and I came.
Exactly.
I know.
And she manifested it.
I'm Miles and I came here because I felt like it.
Thanks for your honesty, Miles.
Oh, right, sorry. I'm Miranda, I'm here because, it was the circle public speaking and no.
Yeah, that's
Me too, same.
Yeah, the metaphysical is way more cooler than public speaking.
Yes, for sure.
Would anyone in the back like to share?
This is my friend Michael, and
Michael.
he's here because I made him come.
Good
Cute
friend.
besties.
Good friend.
Thank you guys for sharing.
And I'm Cecil.
Thank you,
Cecil.
Cecil. Welcome to space. Yeah, is that okay? Yeah, is that okay?
Autumn, just curious.
Thanks for being here, Autumn. Brian, would you like to go? I don't want to skip that on you.
Hi, I'm Brian. I'm old.
Why? Absolutely.
I'm a huge Lisa fan, so I'm here. I'm here because I'm a fan person.
Would you like to go? Thank you. Well, welcome to the space. Thank you for being honest about what you'd like to do. Is A-okay here? Can we jump in? Yeah.
Hi, my name's Adam. I like incense. And I guess I would like to learn more about spiritual stuff.
Okay.
Sounds pretty cool.
I'm loving it. What's beautiful is a lot of people are afraid to just touch the word spiritual. So it's just like, there's a real cool trend of the metaphysical here. I think that's what's beautiful about young people is you're not dense, you know, you're willing to understand and kind of trailblaze in this way. So, yes.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are like interested in the practice of spirituality or like witchcraft and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like so fascinating. So it's cool to learn about.
Michael Hasso does a workshop on witchcraft and words and poetry, and
Yeah.
he's badass. He's been doing poetry for 15 years in the Central Valley, and he doesn't brag about himself, but I'm happy to brag about him. He's gifted, and it's cool because he knows his art, and so in the Central Valley, hearing witchcraft and poetry, they're gonna burn you at the stake. But Michael Hasso is like, no, it's me, and this is how I choose to express, and I feel uncensored in that way, and that's beautiful because that's spiritual.
I like that aspect of, so we don't find in more like common religions and like Catholicism and everything, is that in witchcraft it's a lot about you get to define the way you do your own practice. Where like a lot of people have preconceived notions of how you're supposed to practice Christianity or something like that.
I think this is a fun conversation of like why you just should never follow. I like to follow like themes, not people, because if the theme is agency,
Yeah, definitely.
then witchcraft is the agency to choose a way to express, you know, my manifestations, or you know, I as a Christian or Catholic, you know, agency is my choice to express spiritual relationship in that.
And not saying that you can't have agency in other
Exactly.
religions. You still definitely can.
That's what's beautiful is both of them can be true, right? And that's what's cool about self-mastery is you need to know yourself to know what you want, so that way you can advocate and your homie's got your back, right? So like my bestie is Christian, and I've done my fair share of joining with her in things, and what's cool is we engage in discourse, and because we love each other and respect each other, she's vital to my work because her perspective is valid. Her way of living is valid. We just see the world differently, and so we got into toxic religion 2 weeks ago in preparation of this, and like, she's been praying for me, let's just say that. She's been praying for me, and I love her to death because I've been praying for her. And so it's interesting that we both pray to a divine higher power, and so it's cool because the spiritual allows us to not be linear in that way and to trust that good will come of both of our prayers. So I'm gonna jump back to you, is that okay?
Yeah. I'm Philia. I'm here because I want incense are nice. But also I'm really big on like spirituality. I'm like the impact of being able to respect yourself to get others to respect you type of stuff.
Love it.
I resonate with big, you can say big bold energy or big energy, but it's big energy. I resonate with it.
Hello, I'm Percy, and I'm just interested to learn more, and interested in learning more about the mind and spirit.
Right on, and you have gray hair.
Thank you.
My name is Anna, and yeah, I just came so I could learn more about like spirituality.
Right on.
I'm Fernanda. I was just really curious coming here and see what you had to talk about.
Here's what's cool about Fernanda. So I went in and I was like, don't be scared. We're not going to do brujeria. We're not going to do. She's like, I'm cool with that. So I was like, all right, come on, people. Welcome to the space. Okay, cool.
My name's Kai, and I just came in to listen and see different point of visions on life.
Welcome, okay.
I'm Sophie, and what you shared about like self-mastery and like knowing yourself is what really resonates for me right now, as that's something I've been struggling with and bettering myself, mental health-wise, everything.
Same. Yes, prioritize your you.
Hi, I'm Kristen. I'm here because for like the past couple of years, I made the realization recently that I kind of even though I was successful before, I kind of let life take reign over me. And I'm here because I am on that journey of, having agency and taking, my power back, and I need guidance.
Yes. Can we just like clap for that vulnerability? It's so hard to be truthful. Thank you for people just speaking through. Also, I would consider this walking therapy. When you can see color like this and this type of expression, that means you thought about what you were gonna wear before you came out. That's therapy. That's beautiful. Your expression, your view before. That's energy in physical form. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Raquel, and I also thought I would be a Lisa fan, so I wanted to check it out.
Yay, thanks Raquel. I got out. Yes.
Hi, I'm Mars. I guess I've tried to be spiritual in the past, and I really want to get back in touch with that side, but I find that there's like this sort of awkward barrier that I have a hard time overcoming, sort of feeling like it's almost like imposter syndrome. Am I really feeling like spiritual, or am I really like doing things right? And I would like to know how to overcome that barrier. Because I want to be spiritual, but I feel like it's just something that's so far removed from what I grew up with, that I almost feel like it's hard to really connect with those inner feelings.
You just said a whole theology on like how colonization ruins our connection to the spirit. So like, we'll end on that, and that'll be our Q&A, so we can talk like what's up, because there's so much to talk about with spiritual warfare that it's just like we have to name it in order to start to pay attention at how often it shows up. So we'll run through the mind and the body about why they're relevant, why they're important, and then we'll end with the spiritual, because that's kind of my coup de grace, is like the soul and the spirit. That's what's sustained me, is that work. And so I actually teach gratitude as a way to like root in perspective, but also call in manifestations using your own power. So yes. So the mind. The reason why the mind is important is like you have to understand justice to have the clarity to know what you're up against, right? So they're in the school system, right? They control what we learn, how we learn, at what time, and they even control the time of day, right? Daylight saving time is made up. That's what you're up against. You're up against people controlling your time, controlling what you learn, and how you learn, and the pace at which you learn. Having a clear mind allows you to wake up each day and not get bogged down by the monotony of school, right? Are you beefing with going to school 8 to 3? Well, you wonder why. Your body's not meant to sit in that way, in that prison-style lifestyle. So you need to have the clarity to know what you're up against, and a clear mind will help you, because a lot of us are from real families, and so our coping mechanisms and our communication styles come from real ass people with trauma. And so when we're in our emotions and we're bogged down, we're reactive, we're not responsive. And so clarity helps you not have beef with the Dollar General worker because you just had a bad day, right? It just helps you understand of like, this person also is having a bad day, they're also in poverty. That's why your mind is important. And also, if you spend a lot of time on TV, remember that then there's the added layer of what the media is forcing down on you. So that also is reinforcing what type of body you should have, reinforcing what type of look you should have. So that's where the mind piece kind of comes in. The body is really important. A lot of people skip over this piece. When your body is on fleek, and I mean on fleek in the sense of, did you hydrate? Like, we have caffeine addiction so much in this place, and I myself am guilty.
You're not wrong.
Like, I love the caffeine, I'm not gonna lie. Don't hate on caffeine. But what happens is, remember, how 90% water, Mother Nature, a lot of water. What does water symbolize? Fluidity. Going with the flow, being washed, being cleansed. Think about inside your body. Water is the way that we eject toxins. It helps dilute it. I'm being so serious about hydration. Another one is dancing. Yes. Oh, okay, sorry. I was like, got you. Yes. I thought you had like a fun fact because somebody did teach me the water stuff thing where it was like the 8 ounces, 16 ounces, 32 ounces. And if you just gauge it, you'll sleep better, your skin will look better, and when you look good, you feel good, period. Dancing. Indigenous communities used to get up and dance in really weird, abnormal ways. If you guys look up ecstatic dance or like rhythmic dancing or animalistic style dancing, it's this theory predicated on just letting that body move. If you look up twerking literally activates your root chakra. Your root chakra is the first of the all chakras. Why? Grounds you. Open, like if you literally, okay, you're gonna laugh at me, but I swear when WAP came out, I read the lyrics and the lyrics resonated with me as like a feminist. I was just like, get it, yes.
Yes,
right? And then it's like, you got a type B. And so then you have Megan Thee Stallion come in with this like extra energy. I'm activating my root chakra. So like, for a while, I was doing in the morning, I'd start with WAP, and I would just like get a little jiggly in the bed, and the next thing you know, I was up. I was hacking my energy, y'all. And if you add a mirror, you're doing mirror work. So you're doing positive body reaffirming. You're telling your body when you're in the morning, it's time to get up, it's time to get active. Don't underestimate the power of movement. If you don't have the luxury to shake, this is cleaning your energy. Anytime you embrace a lot of people, when you physically throw this is literally what they teach you in Reiki. Empty out your energy, it's a physical, and then when you shake, that's actually a real good thing to do. It sends your somatic nerve here, this big one, it tells the biggest to like relax. You ever see dogs when they're wet and they do this? They're regulating.
That's kind of something I picked up on, Blake. But like one thing I'll like doing while I meditate sometimes is I'll like almost imagine the negativity and the physical thing going like out of my body.
Yes. That's a perfect tactic, especially for my visionary folks. If you have one of those imaginations that you're just off, that is a perfect tactic for you to use because if you can live in cerebral, so I'm an Aries, I'm hella cerebral. Visualization is like my way through manifestation because I'm just like you. So if I feel weighted, I'll imagine I'm like tied to a rock and then I'm walking into the water and then when I'm ready to release, I'll like cut it and I'm just like free in the water, frolicking like a little dolphin. So yes to visualization, so much yes. Yeah.
That's why I like energy pulling videos. It just feels like they're taking it, all that stress right out of you.
Yeah. So Google, literally just look up energy pulling and you'll be able to see tactics of like how people actually pull things. And you can even do it with your besties. Or like, may I? Consent is sexy, always. You can wipe it off and you can throw it, right? Okay, let's want to try it on her side.
Your arm.
Yeah.
It feels good.
It's funny because when you and your friends engage in like real intention and you both set the intention to keep each other safe and honor each other's bodies and name that you want to assist in the release, you'll notice things happen. Last night I was supposed to go to a Christmas party, but my bestie, I could sense was dysregulated, and so we ended up at Chipotle, these really nice dresses, and then sleep over at her house. And it was just like 2 in the morning, and she just started crying. And I was like, this is finally what we're here for. You know, that moment in the sleepover when it hit and you get comfy, and then she just like broke down, and I'm like, sisterhood, kinship, radical kinship is a part of health and wellness thing. Did you know the people that live the longest were because they have the strongest relationships? Doesn't that make sense? Healthy families live the longest, healthy families thrive. Remember that if you don't have a safe and healthy family, you have the agency to build a safe and healthy family with your friends. And the best is when you meet in places like this, you already kind of hacked your purpose work because you're here because you believe in equity. I'm here because I believe in equity. Now, how do we grow in this interconnected love model to where I can tell you're just stressed? I can tell your advocacy, you're taking it on. Because you can take on complexes when you're working in this work very easy because you're working with power and privilege. The ego is no joke. It's no joke for leaders. It is something that should be looked at as your kryptonite because it turns you against you. It turns you against your values. So meditation and mindfulness and this self-mastery is really kind of like your own safety net of like, when is Lisa off her rocker? And which one of the 3 am I off in? Because you can be off in the mind, but body on fleek, spirit on fleek. So remember to kind of look at them as the Trinity because you need to be able to decipher what is what. Okay, any other questions on the mind and body before we jump into a fun spirit?
I want to talk about meditation.
Talk about meditation!
Okay. I know how to do it.
Okay. Okay, that's so real. So meditation is hard because it requires silence and stillness. But the misconception is meditation is the quiet and the stillness in here, so the chatter. You can be physically moving. That's why dance can be meditative because you're dancing so much so that you lose the thought of being mindful. Does that make sense? A little bit where it's just like, these jeans are too tight, I ate too much pizza, but then you're dancing and it's just like, I'm just dancing, I'm vibing, nothing about a pizza, nothing about clothes.
Like I don't do this often, but my favorite way to get like more meditative is just like chilling in the pool.
Yep, water.
Letting the water just control me almost.
So you can go, this is so much fun, I love this work because I want to come back to you too also, let me forget. If you are into like astrology and astronomy, Aries people were fire, so fire. I like, obviously, sense. Cancers, right? Pisces, water. You like to be fluid. Mother Nature is therapeutic. You can put your hands in the lake at 3 rivers and you feel refreshed and rejuvenated. Yes. Taurus, my energy, my earth folks. You can go take your shoes off, walk right outside on that dirt, and be like, damn, I'm hella grounded. And it's just like you're in your element. So there are things that you can do in element work too, of like knowing your niche. And so I know that color brings me so much joy, so much so that my bag, color. Like I travel with markers with me everywhere I go, but this is also because I need wellness. Like I'm recovering in my alcoholism. I'm 2 years sober. So really sweet, y'all. Like I don't get to share about my sobriety because it's mine and privacy is sexy. But thank you for receiving me. And that's really sweet. Know yourself because then you know how to fix yourself. And not to say that you're broken, but when you're off track. Meditation. I was gonna play, if you guys like music, Forever Conscious does these meditations where she does like hertz. So like 432 hertz is a type of hertz that when you hear it, it's kind of the earth's vibration. So Jimi Hendrix, some of the early greats, Mozart, they would actually make music according to the hertz. And just like capitalism, what they did was they shot it down, and so they made it to where the airwaves, the radio, was not only allowed, you weren't able to hear the 432 hertz the way that it was played. There's a whole thing about it. It's like, we'll talk about justice, like Jimi Hendrix, like these folks knew that 432, you could raise vibrations in that way in all these hippie fests, and then they like made Major B took it out. So, but anyways, she does meditations and she does guided meditation. So I started with visionary meditation where you would sit and somebody would talk and you would walk into your brain and then you would be in this altered state. Weird things would happen. And then I went into lucid dreaming. That's really fun where you kind of go into a meditative state when you're sleeping and then you play with it, you can control it. Where I think I have the most powerful work is just general meditation and like Tibetan bowls in the back. And the reason why is I have an issue sitting for a long time and being with my thoughts. So I experience the most resistance in the Tibetan one because it's boring. I'm like, how long have I been sitting here? But you get to that discomfort and then you realize that's where the work is. And so what happens is your brain is fighting and you just want to stay in this think. That's the work. So when people say, what's the work is to bypass that to where it's you. Your spirit and your connection with yourself and the divine. Just practice it before bed when nobody's watching you, where you feel safe. Because if you feel like people are hearing you or watching you, you'll start to think too much and it'll make you uncomfortable and then you'll back out. Remember to tell yourself, like this is what I used to do in the beginning, Lisa, you're gonna sit put for at least a full 3-minute song. And I know that sounds like lame, like you couldn't even do it for 3 minutes, but I couldn't because I was so bored. Like just tell yourself and set the intention. And just trust in the process. Remember, you're reframing your brain from going at 100 miles an hour to slowing down. It will take practice. I used to have a Vespa, and every time I was stopped at a red light, you have to put your foot down. So every time I put my foot down, I'd go into meditative practice, where I'd be like, I'm at a stop sign, I'm in a good mood, I like my boots, my helmet hair sucks, but I'm feeling really happy, I wore my jacket, and you can use gratitude or just. The purpose is to start small and then grow into the silence. Meditation is awkward, it really is, but find some hippies and their energy will help ease you. Zayas has a good class for $10 or $7. Drop into community yoga class on Thursday nights. Be fun to try.
I was just kind of throwing in what helped me get, because like I had a whole spiritual journey and then I just kind of stopped it. I don't know, I started feeling awkward and I don't know, it just kind of was on a halt. But when I was feeling that awkward jump of getting into meditation, you kind of touched on this earlier, but I would just watch a candle flame and just, that's it. I wouldn't let my brain focus on anything else. I would literally just watch a candle burn. And next thing I knew, 15, 20 minutes had passed. And you just don't let anything else in. Every time, I think Raquel told me about this professor that they had where this professor would make Raquel and the class meditate for 5 minutes at the beginning, and what she said, the professor, was there's this puppy in your head, and you have to put the puppy back in the box. And the puppy just wants to keep running, so you just take the puppy and you put it back in the box.
And the point of that too was that you won't get mad at a puppy, so you shouldn't
Yeah,
get mad at yourself.
don't get mad at your brain.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm getting so jazzed. If you start entering into healing the inner child, the compassion and empathy that you're talking about is just you start hugging yourself when you're crying and just acknowledging that your emotions are valid. Yes, thank you for sharing also. I really appreciate that. If you guys are vibing with one another, keep doing that because this work is so serious that we really do need all the techniques and all the practices that we can get because we're up against this every day. It's not just organizing, it's our families, taking care of ourselves, your schoolwork, your passions. Spirit. Spirit is my absolute favorite because we have been indoctrinated to not be in touch with our spirit, and spirit is our color, is our soul. Don't let anybody rob you of your morals or your values or your integrity, and that's tied to your spirit. So the best part about the justice work is excavating your core values. It is in your favor only to understand why you do what you do and who you are and why you are the way that you are. This is what I'm talking about what they can never take away from you, is your integrity. So for me, it's really important for me to try my best to speak truth. And it's really important for me to try my best to be in my authentic self. So when I launched my business, it didn't make sense that we were just doing a bike ride up and down the street. But to everybody who did justice work and understood justice in the body, it made sense to us because we knew us in our play and us in our joy was fighting because we chose play and enjoyment and being in equity rather than trying to beat down the oppressor with his own tools, right? So that's my tactic at justice. So the way that you strengthen your spirit is coming to your values and naming them. And I like to journal, that's my favorite way. It can be sensitive and really vulnerable because you're just your words, they're your words. And when you reread your words, it can get a little teary. That's okay. Remember, we're humans. Just like rain, what does the rain do? It clears the air, and then you have this beautiful big sky. Same thing as your body. Tears are healing. That's how you know you're gonna get to the rainbow. It's like literally if you're healing and processing. So don't feel weird if you're like, why is healing ugly? It's so hard. That's how you know you know it. It should feel that mucky ickiness, but it's because you've been suppressing it for so long and you're tripping over the carpet because you've been hiding it under the big old carpet. Like, get under it. Okay. Anything else Q&A wise? Because if not, we're gonna do a physical thing. Yes.
Tips for separating mind.
Tips from separating mind from spirit. That's a good question. So for people who are overanalyzers, like because I'm a cerebral person, strategy, I can live in strategy all day. That's lethal though, because that's living up here. And so distinguishing from the mind and spirit, when I'm in my mind, there's the back and forth. She's more of a negative Nancy, and she's very critical. For good reason. She wants me to be a boss, you know, but she's critical. When I'm in my spirit sounds like the wise sage. My spirit sounds like, babe, I don't even know if you hydrated today. Like, I shouldn't be making those decisions. You will know your spirit and your mind if you sit long enough in meditation and it's here. Because what will happen is, when you're in meditation, your phrases will come in and come out. Your emotions, when you hear these phrases, will give you the code of, was that me in alignment or was that me pushing to be that? Was that me beefing on not feeling valued at my mom, so I overstretched in this one place and decided to help too much, and now I'm pissed because I'm pushed for time? You'll have to be able to decipher that yourself, but just pay attention to the voice. What is the voice saying, and what is the emotional feeling you're hearing? And sometimes people are intuiting this, so if you're intuiting it, pay notice, and then also remember, you can ask the divine and your angels to guide you. We are humans, but human beings. And so when you start to decolonize your life, you start to do the meditative work, birds seem to kind of talk to you, cats kind of seem to show up in weird spots, like dimes, like weird synchronicities start to happen when you start living in presence and consciousness, because you're like really appreciating the little things and like the pretty things. That'll help you just regulate. Once you regulate, you'll really start to know yourself. That's why the self-mastery is cool. Like, journal, capture, and remember that you're gonna evolve and continue to grow. So, yeah.
Something that helps me with that too, kind of like you said, the journaling, for me it's poetry, because I have a hard time like completely like being in tune with my thoughts and my spirit, and when I'm like, something inspires me or whatever, and I write it down and like the words are beautiful, and then I analyze it and I'm like, oh, so this is how I'm feeling, so this is, you know, where I'm at right now. Like if it's like very kind of like dreary, but there's some hope in there, I'm like, okay, gotta hold on to that hope, you know.
Dude,
so.
the universe is the best feedback loop ever. If you pay attention and you ask the universe what's going on with me right now, you'll see it. So like, I like to write less because it puts me in a meditative state because I'm not driving. I'm literally chilling in the bus, like watching everything beautiful just kind of go by. And so it's almost like I stop and I'm in this like weird space and I always start to cry. And I think it's because I've gotten good at just being grateful to like have breath, because not a lot of us get to wake up every day, be here, be able-bodied, you know, like there's all these perspectives that we carry. And so ask for help. That's the best part. And also rely on one another, because if your people love you, they're okay to check in with you, like, honestly, you are a little bitchy lately. You know, it's like, what's going on? Yeah, have you guys ever done a unity clap before?
No.
Have you heard of Dolores Huerta? She's Central Valley kind of badass. She's like this tall. She's a labor organizer. She created this unity clap, and it's to me it's cool because it's energy. Clapping, sound, snapping, just like the bells. Whistling, people who sing a lot, those actually break up energy. If you ever have a mom who folds clothes, that's also healthy too. So basically we're gonna do a unity clap, and what it is we basically all just start clapping as we are, but the purpose is us to find syncopation, rhythm in our synergy, and so eventually we'll try to sound like all together, and it'll get faster, 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 till we all clap. You and I must have been in sync because our hands are doing this at the same time. Or maybe I was just like watching, taking your leadership. But if we can all get up and form a circle, it'll help us see everybody within the circle. We're gonna do some infused energy work, so just kind of be grateful for your neighbors, grateful for the source, grateful for the space to be here, grateful for the herbs that did what they do. We don't even have to ask it to do anything. Express your bigness. Okay, perfect. We're gonna do this in 2 rounds. The first time is to get the sillies out, and the second time is for power. So we'll start on the count of 3, and we're just gonna do an experiment. Okay, ready, set, go. I'm really good at this. Okay, you guys are really good at it. Like, I'm supposed to be like awful, and then there's like synergy and you like start off right. Okay, so we'll do this again. This time, for my visual folks, you're gonna draw energy from the ground, and you're gonna feel it kind of go up to your knees as we clap. Because what'll happen is you can feel the excitement and energy when clapping. It's because we're getting loud. So imagine it enter that root chakra, and then just like let it come out into the final clap. And then what Dolores Huerta does is once we do this, at the end we say "Si se puede," and we all say it at the very end of the clap. So we'll all kind of do like a "Si se puede," and it'll be really dramatic and fun. Okay. You ready? You want to do the bell? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Would anybody like to do a bell? Welcome, anybody? Oh, thank you. I love this damn thing. They get bigger and they get beautiful too. Like, they're really pretty. Zayas also has this. Rana. Okay. Okay, now try going the other way. See what happens.
Ooh.
Ooh, we felt her energy. It's actually really hard to capture the energy like that and keep it. You normally have to gong it, so that's actually really cool. Guess what? So normally we just get better and better and better, but great job. Can we give a clap over that? Okay, cool. So we'll play just like chill style. Everybody should be able to play. Maybe once you hit it, pass it to somebody, whoever wants. I have stickers. This was made by a local gentleman, Urbanist. And then we'll kind of just do Q&A. I have